very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, one of those things I never liked when I deliver keynotes, and this has been going on for 24 years of my life, is either a slot which is like 30 minutes before lunch or the first 1 hour after lunch. And I'm not sure whether I'm blessed or my horoscope chart says so. I always get that kind of slots. Alright, so given that I've got 15 minutes, I'm going to be sharing with you as much as I possibly can how we have been using the strengths-driven, solution-focused culture for organizations in helping them do business transformation. Right? Now, I'm not going to bore you and tell you about how technology is coming in and how technology is going to take over the world and all that stuff. We have had a lot of speakers share that. But do you agree that the world is changing? Yes or yes? Excellent. Right? Now, the question then comes, what are we going to be doing as leaders, as HR leaders, to drive the change? How are we going to integrate, right, human and technology so that we actually get the best of both worlds? There's so much of fear in people, especially in industries like manufacturing. Oh no, we are going to be losing our jobs, right? There's so much of fear around it. But the question is that really true? Or will upskilling and reskilling enable us to continue having more jobs, right? So the question is, how fast are we as HR leaders going to be able to adapt and integrate technology and human? And this is what IR 5.0 actually is. Anyone familiar with IR 5.0? 4.0, I know everyone should be aware. 5.0, anyone familiar? Right? So, the very moment we start integrating technology and humanizing the way forward of organizations' culture, that's where IR 4.0 will be. If you notice on my slide, the message there is the entire world will be going back a little bit. And that's why I love the theme, right? Back into the future, right? We will be going back a little bit. We'll be integrating human and bringing the heart and the soul back and putting that into technology, and that's what IR 4.0 will be. Now, is this change going to be easy? Yes? Do you think this change is going to be easy? Do you want me to experiment with you and tell you how easy the change can be? Can I get everyone to please stand up? Come, very quickly. Guys, I only have got 15 minutes and I think I might get another bonus of 3 minutes. So, can I get everyone to find a partner very quickly? Just quickly stand next to your partner. Right? Stand next to a partner. Right. All you have to do is a very simple exercise. Remember I told you, the difficult sessions are always before lunch and after lunch. Right? So, what I want you to do is, the first person will say 1, the next person will say 2, and then the first person will say 3. And then you repeat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Easy? Go. Faster, faster. All right, bring that to a close. Now let me introduce a small change. Let me introduce a tiny, tiny change. Very tiny. Do not mention number 1. Number 1, you cannot verbalize it. You replace the number 1 with a clap. Alright? So, clap, 2, 3, clap, 2, 3, clap, 2, 3, go! All right, bring that to a close. Now, let's introduce a little bit more change. You know, we are moving from IR 4.0 to 5.0, right? Well, let's shift gears, right? Now, number 2, replace it with a stamp of feet. The entire Bandra must be shaking. Shah Rukh Khan must wake up and come here. Why is this earthquake happening suddenly? Right, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, bring that to a close and thank your partner and let's please get seated. Thank you very much. So can I be curious, at what point of time in life or what age did we all start clapping? Babies, right? I remember the little bit when someone tried to show me some, toy and like, hee, right? So when we were babies, we started clapping, and I'm also sure that we were much younger when we started stamping our feet. I remember doing that when I went to the mall and my father says, no, you can't buy that. Yes? However, after so many years of doing those little things like 1, 2, 3, clap, 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 stamping feet, when I introduced that change, was it very easy? No. Change is not easy, dear friends, but that's what we as HR leaders will need to do. We will need to really put in a lot of sincere, genuine effort to integrate technology and the heart and bring that together, which will then be known as 5.0. Right? So I want to share with you this entire concept or this well-being approach, right? So first is how are people in the organization flourishing in their personal life. That creates a strong impact on how the organization is flourishing. Only when you have the individuals flourish and the people in the organizations flourish, the organization gets the best and gets the most amount of generative resources. Now you might ask me, Sunil, what do you mean by flourishing at work? What are the the assets within workforce flourishing? Simple, relationships, right? What are the kind of culture? Are we creating a culture where people feel included, right? When you talk about psychological safety, the 4 levels, level 1 is inclusion, right? Level 4 is where you can even challenge the management and leadership and be comfortable and feel safe to actually co-create, right? You have also got developmental. How is the design of the development and all? Not sure how many of you are aware that we already have the ISO standards for learning and development, right? So globally, 2 years ago, right, I was very blessed to represent, I think probably the Asia HR community, to sit on the ISO standards committee, and we built the ISO standards for learning and development, right? So can we follow certain structured way of developing people? Economic, job security, compensation benefits, are people getting well rewarded? All of these are factors that will enable people to flourish. Now, once organizations create this perfect opportunity of flourishing people within their own space, within the workspace, you will be able to see the best. And what you really want is to create a workplace culture, and the acronym that I've come up with is FLOURISH. So first, fantastic teams. Not fantastic in terms of competency and capability only, but they must be really having lots of fun, because more than 70% of their time is at work, right? Next is life-giving work. They must feel alive when they come into the organization. They shouldn't be dreading their feet. There are times when I'm facilitating leadership workshops, I always get this comment. Normally I ask them, how do you feel when you come to work? Okay lah. In Malaysia, la is a sort of word that we use behind every single word. So speak to my fellow Malaysians, you will know that, right? So it's okay. How's life coming along? Pulling along, pulling along, right? How many people actually wake up every morning saying that, yes, this morning I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to rock the day? All right? So that's number 2, life-giving work. Number 3, outstanding talent, right from the process of hiring to talent development, to talent management, to performance management, are we re-looking at those processes? How can we enhance those processes, simplify those processes, make those processes so friendly and so engaging and so calming to people and welcoming to people into the entire space, right? Uplifting growth, rewarding compensation, and this is where I will always say there will be a reciprocal appreciation, because today people are always looking for something that they can also take back, whether it's salary or it's appreciation. People in the US, there was a research that showed right after COVID, they were willing to take up to 25% salary cut so that they get a space to work where their mental well-being is priority number one, right? Impactful and inspirational leadership and the servant leadership model that, the speaker spoke prior to this is just perfectly complementing what I'm just sharing, right? Being more strengths-driven and solution-focused, right? And finally, creating a happy work culture. At the end of the day, as results, as leaders, what are we looking for? Frankly speaking, results, right? Results, bottom line, profitability, margins. In order to get those results, there's always a concern of what is the kind of action, right, that people take. But where does these actions come from? Anyone? A quick guess before I click the button? Quick guess? Where do you think actions, well, I gave away the answer though. Where do you think the actions come from? Sorry? People, right? People's what? People's beliefs. And people's beliefs comes from, now anyone who gets the answer right will get 1,000 rupees. I did this in Philippines and I offered 1,000 pesos. Then I realized, wow, that was a big chunk, right? Experiences, right? So I'll spend 1,000 buying kulfi for myself later, right? So if you look at this particular model where experiences shape people's beliefs and people's beliefs will shape the actions that they do, and finally it's their action that gives you the results, then we know we need to focus on the kind of experiences that we are creating as leaders in organization. To drive the culture change, to drive the business numbers, you need to focus on the experience creation. Then the question comes, how do you create this happy culture? How do you create a culture where people are so energized and people are flourishing and the organization can thrive on, right? So culture A, which is the previous culture, you will notice that results will be A. And if you want to shift over, like I mentioned just now, all you need to do is focus on the experiences, and therefore now you will see the shift. Then the question comes, how do I drive accountability? My issue is people are not getting things done. People want to work from home, but I don't know whether they are really working or not. Accountability culture is a concern. Yes? Yeah, Sunil, you are right. You can see some heads nodding there. Right? So how do you drive that? Right? So what you want to do is really to move people from below the line behaviors to above the line behaviors. And above the line behaviors is where accountability comes in. Right? So you use the solution-focused approach, you use positive psychology, a couple of more approaches to actually shift the behaviors. And this is where you will get the results that you desire. What is the outcomes that's going to be possible for your organization, at least from the last 7 years of doing this across 7 countries, 24 organizations? This is what we saw. We saw an improvement in employee engagement. We saw higher accountability culture. We noticed that it definitely helped to build the staff morale. We managed to measure the culture of the organization and we noticed there's a positive shift. We also noted greater psychological safety at workplace, which means people felt more comfortable to speak up and have conversations with senior leaders. We also got to know that it helped to reduce burnout. And you know what? we managed to improve retention and finally improve the mental health. Now, what's the end goal? The end goal is, let's flourish our people so that they can help us drive the business. Remember the mantra, people growth equals to business growth. As long as you're able to grow and nurture and flourish your people, your business will grow. But the very moment we do not focus on our people's mental well-being, mental health, that's going to be a stumbling block moving forward. Things were very different those days, now it's slightly different. And now we are dealing with a multi-generation workforce, right? Resilience levels are coming down. Stress levels are going up. A 4-year-old child can come and tell you, Uncle Sunil. Of course, I feel very hurt when people call me uncle, but it's the unfortunate reality. I've hit 40 now, right? Oh, Sunil, you know, my son is going through depression. Uncle Sunil, I think I got anxiety, need to present in class. In my mind, I'm like, do you even know how to spell the word anxiety, frankly? Right? At that age, 4 years, 5 years old. But that's the kind of, young generation that we are also having in the organizations coming forward, right? In 6 years' time, we will have the alpha generation join us. So welcome to the world where you have got baby boomers, you have Gen X, you have Gen Y, you got Gen Z, you got Gen Alpha. 5 generations. And that's why yesterday when they did the movie Thriller, I don't know any one of you saw or not, I think that movie is going to be a hit, especially in the corporate space. Right? Because they are talking about how to manage in a multi-generation workforce. Right? So this is the model that we have designed and used and has been proven to work really, really well, where we start by really helping organizations to look at the individual strengths, team strengths, organizational strengths, and then we go through the overall transformation process. But the heart behind the entire transformation is 2 core components. Number 1, the solution focus and leadership approach, and number 2, the positive well-being. And all other features around it helps us drive the results. Now you'll be wondering, has this model worked? So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of most recent success stories. So in Malaysia, so for reasons of confidentiality and NDAs, I cannot mention the name of companies, but this is the organization type. It's a government-linked company. Their revenue when we kicked off the project was about 120 million ringgit. That's approximately 30 million US dollars. Intervention for 2 years. We brought the revenue up to 163 million Malaysian ringgit. That's about 40 million US dollars. So close to about 10 million US dollars within a 2-year period. Next was a MNC, a multinational. 1.13 billion when we started the project, effort for 2.5 years of massive intervention and co-created design, went up to 1.48 billion with an increase of 350 million ringgit Malaysia. In Philippines is another MNC. They were at a negative 15 million euros. Upon the intervention of 9 months of active, literally 9 months I was eating, sleeping, breathing in Philippines, and I fell in love with Manila, obviously. We managed to support the organization 13 months later, and it's now hovering at a positive 25 million euros. In South Africa, an oil and gas company was starting at 60 million US dollars. We went in for about 2 years. We brought the company up to 109 million, making a net profit or net increase of 49 million. And finally, Indonesia, it was a small SME, right? They got in touch with me because of my involvement in the Rotary Club. They were about 27 million Sing dollars, 1.5 years of intervention. Company went up to 59 million Sing dollars, positive 32 Sing. So at the end of the day, what you really want to do, dear friends, is not go around conducting trainings and doing all these programs for the fun of it. You need to be able to really start being able to measure the financial return on investment, right? Because at the end of the day, at the C level, the CFO, the CEO is going to be asking you that question. I'm investing 10 million on your learning and development. how many percent is my return on investment? What's going to be the answer? Oh no, our capabilities improve. Oh, our employee engagement improve. Oh, our people are happier. We go and play bowling more often. Right? So the question is, can we start really helping our leaders and ourselves justify every single ringgit, every single dollar, every single rupee that we actually spend, right? And really show the transformation, which is measurable. Now I've got 1 minute and 35 seconds, I think. Yep. So I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote, which I've been saying for the last 24 years of my life, where ever since I was first invited to speak in United Nations, I was 17 years old, 24 years of traveling, more than 500,000 of people probably, 47, 48 countries. The same common message from young to now, and I know I'm not that old, but it's still, I know I'm mid-age. Let us aspire to inspire before we all expire, because the life on this journey is very, very short. Right, dear friends? Thank you very, very much. Looking forward to having more conversations with all of you, and let's see how we can co-create a better future for everybody around us. Thank you very, very much, and God bless.